If you look at a Shane Burgos, if you look at a Charles Jourdain, this fight has all the makings of fight of the night right here, legitimately. Like, I can't name another fight where I'm like, there's going to be more of a battle, more of a war. If you liked Shane Burgos versus Billy Quarantillo, then you're going to like Shane Burgos versus Charles Jourdain. Now, Charles Jourdain is coming off of a very, very massive win against Lando Venata, where Venata was looking sharp, bro. Venata was looking so sharp, but Charles Jourdain, he jumped on a guillotine and he was able to finish the fight. And it doesn't matter how sharp Venata was looking because he got finished. It was what it was. But look at the fight before that. Fought a long, rangy Andre Ewell, great striker. And he took over, man. He took over and he embarrassed him in the end of the fight where he did that push kick, right? That front kick to the chest, man. Just said, get up out of here, knocked him down, and then screamed at the camera like, what's up? That's Charles Jourdain saying, here's my reckoning. Here's my comeuppance. You know what I mean? He's 26 years old, 4-3-1 in the UFC. So the record is not nearly as good as the prospect of Charles Jourdain. But this is the wall right here. This is the obstacle. This is the mountain you must overcome in Shane Burgos. Now, AJ, I know you said Charles Jourdain. Look at him. He's got the technical capacity, the kicks, all that stuff. Burgos is a plotter. But look at who Burgos has fought in his last 5. Cub Swanson, you win. Amir Khani, you win. You lose to Josh Emmett. You lose to Edson Barbosa. You fight Billy Quarantillo, you win. That's a hit list of a hit list right there. Man is 5'11". He has a 6-inch reach advantage on Charles Jourdain. That's the key right there. If I think Shane Burgos, there's one other thing that I think about, and that's a crispy jab. And I think that he's going to use that jab all day long to keep Charles Jourdain at bay. Now, the question here becomes, if you look at the takedown propensity of Charles Jourdain, it's almost none. Takedown for Shane Burgos, it's almost none. So if this is strictly a striking contest, what does Charles Jourdain have to do to close the distance, my man? Is he throwing all those kicks? Is that how he's covering the distance? 6 inches is a lot of inches, my man. You know what I'm saying? So what do you think?
Yeah, I agree with you, Derek, man. And the bad part is Shane Burgos only loses to the top of the top contenders, man. Yeah. You said in his top 5, it was Edson Barbosa and Josh Emmett, but you go down a little further, man, it's Kelvin Cater's the only other one, man. I think he only has 3 losses, right? Yep, 14-3 for Shane Burgos. This dude only loses to the top of the top contenders, and he has that reach. He's very powerful, and I think he's on a resurgence, man. After the Edson Barbosa fight, he came back against Billy Q, looked great, didn't get a finish, but still looked powerful, looked dominating, and I think he's still riding that high, man. And as much as, I give a little grief, the plotters, like it sounds like a bad word, a plotter. It's not really, man. He has so much power. He walks forward, big back, big lats. This dude can crack, man. Down for a war, and he thrives in the pocket. So even if Air Jourdain does kind of nullify that 6-inch reach that Burgos has with his kicks, I think once the pocket gets closed, that's where Shane Burgos thrives, man. He thrives in that like up close, that battle, that grit, that stuff that makes a lot of people like a little worrisome, a little scared. Those are the ones, those dirty boxing moments. That's when like shit goes down that you're not really expecting. And that's where Shane Burgos thrives. So this one, I was a little I think this one took me the longest. And to go back to what you were saying earlier, I think this fight's buried so far down on the card, because if we always say it all the time, the first fight of the night, are expecting a banger. I think if the first fight of the night, which we're going to talk about in just a little bit, kind of fizzles out, I think they put this one as like, oh, don't worry, guys. We got heat on the second one. We got some strikers. This one's going to be a very fun fight, man. What do you think?
Absolutely. No, that's actually a perfect way of thinking about it, right? Keep the fans engaged, right? Be like, hold on, this is going to be a banging card. Trust me. Because when the UFC travels now today in 2022, when they travel, you stack the card a bit. And the reason why is because it's like, okay, we're going to New York, we're going to Ohio, we're going to wherever we're going. You have fans in attendance, all that good stuff. You have to have star-studded performance. You have to have engaging fights. You have to have captivating fights. And this is going to be that one right there. I can almost guarantee it. Now, AJ, I just wanted to say one last thing on Shane Burgos before we talk wagers and whatnot. This is going to be a war of attrition fight. We already know that going into this, man. There's no other way I can really see this because of the way these two fighters go. They both want to walk forward. Who's going to get the job done? Now, when he fought Billy Quarantillo, Shane Burgos, when he fought Billy Quarantillo in his last outing, don't forget, Billy Quarantillo is not just the dude who, I'm going to walk up and throw punches at you. He's going to mix in the grappling. He's going to try to wrestle you. Billy Q, who takes down almost everybody, 0 for 14 on takedowns against Shane Burgos. That's the key right there. If he couldn't do that, that means Shane Burgos has fought much more well-versed fighters than the Charles Jourdains. If it's all strikes right here, I just think Shane Burgos is going to have the upper hand. So that's why he's a minus 180 favorite. But you got to think, you have respect on Jourdain being a plus 160 underdog, and you're not a ranked opponent. You know what I mean? And Shane Burgos just coming off fighting Barbosa, Emmett, Amir Khani, Swanson, and that's respect. Let's talk props. Plus 185 for a Shane Burgos decision victory right here, my man. What do you think of that?
Whew, defer to the decision. It makes sense. It makes sense. I actually see this fight going to decision. I mean, I think with how gritty, how determined both these fighters are, and how well versed they are, it makes a lot of sense that the odds makers see it for a decision as well.
And if Shane Burgos doesn't get spontaneously kicked in his head and knocked out, I don't really see any other way where both these dudes are knocking each other out, man. I think this is going to be fight of the night because nobody gets knocked out. That's what makes a fight of the night. It has to go to the decision, right? So for Charles Jourdain, it's just interesting when I look at these props, man. He's plus 160, and I honestly think if you're betting on Charles Jourdain, you just take the money line at plus 160. Look at the TKO, plus 450, submission plus 1,000, decision plus 335. Just take the plus 160 and run with it if you want to hedge that way. But if you're rocking with Shane Burgos, I think the plus 185, that is the key right there. Take that decision prop. The TKO prop, can I see it happening? Yes. But I mean, he could also submit him. You know what I mean? Like both of these dudes have submission chops, knockout chops. But when all of that comes together, that's when I think we just see that straight war. Unless AJ, last question, do you think that somehow, some way, this could turn out into one of those situations that Charles Jourdain had with Julian Erosa, where it was a war back and forth the whole entire time, and then Erosa just pulls out the Bravo choke in the third round, just a quick end. You know what I mean? And someone gets submitted. Do you think that's on the table?
Not really. I mean, obviously, yes. Like it could be. Yeah, there's always on the table is the unfortunate thing. I don't really think it's going to happen in this fight. I think this is going to be one of those ones where it's back and forth the entire time, washing machine all the way until the end. Both fighters, what I like about them, they both have very high fight IQ, so they know that stuff. They can see all that stuff happening, and I think it just leads to not as much of a stalemate in the sense of like a boring, like a Derek Lewis versus was Francis Ngannou?
Yeah.
Like. Yeah. Not a stalemate, but a stalemate in the fact that I know what you're doing, you know what I'm doing. We're still gonna do it and we're still gonna act on it, but it's just not not as one-sided as one fight could be. You know?
Yeah, no, absolutely. So over and under is 2.5 rounds here. Minus 105 for the over, minus 125 for the under. So the odds makers like the under once again, man. But we can't just listen to the odds makers. You have to make up your mind for yourself. That's what we're here for. For the folks who are a little confused and like, I don't know what to pick, don't worry. We've been mulling it over for you. So clearly we're at odds here, AJ. We're at odds. But at the end of the day, I'm rocking with Shane Burgos, and I actually like the over. I like that decision play for Shane Burgos. Fight of the night right here. You're rocking with Jourdain. How's he get it done?
Man, I really like that money line pick. I think that's the way to go. But if I didn't have to go money line pick, I'd also have to go decision on this one because I think this one's going to be a war, just a war of attrition, man.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So that is that fight right there. When we say fight of the night right now and we're calling it, don't be surprised when it is fight of the night. We'll just say that. All right.